Just then, the girl noticed something strange. Seemed hidden beneath the wallpaper. As Annie was about to peel back the wallpaper to check, a sudden noise came from outside the window. Thinking a thief might have broken in, Annie cautiously went downstairs to the hall to investigate, only to find she had simply left a window open. As she casually closed it and turned to go back to her room, something eerie happened. The window behind her had mysteriously opened again. A chill ran down Annie's spine, but seeing the open window behind her, she mustered her courage and reached out once more. Yet strangely, her younger sister, who had just been outside the window, suddenly appeared inside the house now. Before Annie could process this, she noticed a shadowy figure flash behind her sister. Sensing the house might not be safe, Annie carefully opened her brother's bedroom door. However, she found nothing unusual, only her brother lying in bed. After confirming no one else was in the room, Annie finally closed the door with relief. She then picked up her sister and headed upstairs to rest. But as soon as they reached the stairs, an alarm sounded from her brother's room. Before she could figure out what was happening, her mother rushed into Frank's room. Frank's heart rate was dropping rapidly, and his mother immediately began performing CPR. Unfortunately, it was to no avail. Within moments, Frank's heartbeat stopped.
Come on. It's over. That's what you want, isn't it? It's what God would want.
It seemed her mother clearly disliked Annie, and after seeing Annie get slapped by her mother, Frank's heartbeat miraculously returned to normal, as if he took pleasure in seeing his sister mistreated. Her mother then picked up the younger sister to comfort Frank, making Annie feel like an outsider. Feeling wronged, she left the room, unaware that the moment she went upstairs, Frank suddenly woke up. This startled her sister, but their mother was overjoyed as it suggested Frank, who had been in a vegetative state, might fully recover. However, Annie found the scene somewhat eerie. The next morning, as Annie got up to wash her face, she suddenly saw Frank's reflection in the mirror. But when she turned to look, she only saw her mother walking toward her. These repeated eerie events made Annie suspect something was wrong with the house. She searched online for information about it and discovered it was actually a haunted house. Annie then asked her mother if she knew about the rumors surrounding the house, and surprisingly, her mother didn't deny it, assuring Annie it was just a rumor. That night, still uneasy, Annie peeled back the wallpaper and discovered a dark stain underneath. She looked up the stain online and found it was actually blood stain. This terrified Annie. Even more strangely, in the middle of the night, Annie felt her sister crawling around on her bed while she slept. She reached behind her, gesturing for her sister to go back to her own room, but instead touched a large pool of blood. Horrified, Annie jumped out of bed, only to find the blood stain had vanished. As she stood there confused, she suddenly felt a tap on her shoulder. Whirling around, she saw a strange man, but then instantly woke up in bed, realizing it had all been a nightmare. Not long after, Annie's classmates learned she lived in a haunted house. An adventurous couple begged Annie to let them watch a movie at her place. Annie intended to refuse, but when she learned the movie was related to her haunted house, she eventually agreed. That night, the three of them gathered in the living room to watch the horror film. But suddenly, the power in Annie's house went out. They found the basement entrance and restored the electricity. But soon after, Annie's mother discovered them and promptly kicked the two guests out, claiming the blanket had fallen off Frank, something she believed the students had done. However, Annie clearly remembered her classmates never entered Frank's room. The next morning, worried her son might catch a cold, the mother called a doctor to examine Frank. As soon as the doctor entered Frank's bedroom, he noticed a fly circling around Frank. At first, he paid it no mind, but then he saw a maggot crawling on the bed. Carefully turning Frank over, the doctor discovered his back was already rotting, and thousands of flies swarmed out from the bed, directly flying into the doctor's mouth. But then, everything suddenly returned to normal. After this bizarre experience, the doctor hastily left the house. The mother remained by her son's side, never leaving him. However, after Frank opened his eyes, the family dog began barking furiously at him. The mother simply thought the dog was being disobedient, completely unaware her son might have been possessed by a demon. Meanwhile, the younger sister suddenly woke from her sleep and sensed someone staring at her from outside the door. The girl quickly covered her head as the figure slowly closed the door, entered the room, and then opened the wardrobe door. Using Frank's voice, it repeatedly called for the sister to come closer to the wardrobe. The girl followed the voice and slowly approached the wardrobe, but the moment she stepped inside, the door suddenly slammed shut. A terrifying figure appeared immediately after. Hearing the screams, Annie rushed to check, only to see Frank's withered hand holding her sister. Terrified, Annie covered her mouth and ran back to her room, where she found another version of herself lying on the bed. Then Frank suddenly appeared, pointing a gun directly at Annie. That concludes today's movie recap. Follow me for more upcoming content.